Hi everyone, Al the Psych here. I have a video for you for informational purposes only that is actually a review of the practical art of suicide assessment. It's a book by Sean Christopher Shea from 1999. Still a good book. And I'm going to do this in parts. So this is going to be part one because there's just so much in the book. Okay, so let's just jump into it. Some of the information will be taken directly from the book. Other information, maybe I'll add my 2 cents like I like to do. So here we go. The paradox of suicide. Death is sometimes chosen as the only alternative by people who feel deeply alone or shamed, yet are profoundly loved and respected. I thought that was kind of an interesting quote there. Now, the author indicates that yes, some individuals will kill themselves because of being uh, impulsive. Now, think borderline personality disorder here. But usually, the individual has gone over the pros and cons of suicide with some degree of complex thought. Uh, Usually, there's a lot of thought over how or what method will be used to commit suicide. And this actually gives the therapist some opportunity to help the client. So if the therapist can get into the thoughts of the client, he may really be able to assist that individual. So some good news. Suicidal ideation is usually transient in nature. So if the therapist can identify a client that's acutely suicidal and provide an alternative solution, something that delays the act, and then there's a reasonable chance that that person will have a change of mind. And that's one reason, like firearms are somewhat problematic because, they're just so lethal and so quick and deadly. Um, Now, again, according to the author, suicidal ideation can come from three main types of factors: situational, psychological, biological. Suicidal ideation seems to be triggered by the following, and it's usually a mixture of the three. So, situational or external stressors, for example, death of a significant other, loss of some sort, public humiliation, etc. Psychological or internal conflict. So, for example, cognitive distortions, catastrophizing, all or none thinking, that sort of thing. And then biological or neurobiological dysfunction. For example, the author says exogenous toxins. Well, that would be like, alcohol, drugs. And according to SAMHSA, that's Substance Abuse Mental Health Association, one of the reasons alcohol and or drug misuse significantly affects suicide rates is that this inhibition that occurs when a person is intoxicated. Okay. So now remember, we have to make sure we don't downplay a stressor or a loss in a person's life. Now, in my mind, I think of trauma. The definition of trauma and PTSD used to be defined by the external occurrence, like outside the range of usual human experience. But it's now the individual's perception of the experience. So that's the same thing in the case of suicidal ideation, a loss, a situation, whatever the case may be, it may look very different and may feel very different to me than it does to another individual. So, I don't want to downplay the situation, even though in my mind I might think, wow, that doesn't seem like much, but it's not a big deal, but that person might be a very big deal. Okay. So the author suggests the best way to evaluate perceived stress is to ask the following questions, four of them. Okay. So you would ask, what do you feel will be the impact of this loss to you? Do you see any way that this loss can be replaced by you? On a scale of from 1 to 10, with 1 being no pain, 10 being, you know, unbearable pain, where would you place your pain? And then number 4, do you see any way that this pain will lessen or end for you? Okay. And speaking of ending, I'm going to end this video there. This is just part 1, and there will be more to follow. Okay.